I was desperate for work. Not the kind of I should probably find a job soon. Desperate. I mean truly desperate. Bills stacked like a wall of unopened envelopes on my kitchen counter. My rent was 3 weeks late. My fridge held nothing but mustard and a bottle of water, and my phone service had already been cut off twice this month. So when I spotted a short job posting online for a night shift cashier at a gas station just outside of town, I jumped on it. The pay wasn't great, but it was better than lying awake at night, wondering how I'd pay rent. I pictured the work being easy, maybe a couple of customers an hour, some light cleaning, coffee refills. When I arrived for the interview, the first thing I noticed was how alone the place was. A single squat building, 3 gas pumps, and then nothing but forest in every direction. The kind of darkness that swallows headlights. Inside, it smelled faintly of cleaning products and burnt coffee. Behind the counter stood a man with graying hair, sharp eyes, and a name tag that read Harris. He didn't ask for a resume, didn't even greet me. Instead, he pulled a sheet of paper from under the counter and slid it toward me. "Before you agree to work here," he said, "read this and follow it." I expected the usual. Don't leave the register unattended, keep the store tidy, lock up at the end of the shift. Instead, I found this. Do not step outside after 1 a.m. If an empty sports car stops at the station, lock the door and wait until it leaves. If anyone asks for permission to come inside, do not let them in. If a tall man in a brown coat enters, do not speak or make eye contact. Let him buy what he wants and leave. If you hear a baby crying in the back office, close your eyes until it stops. Do not stare at the forest for too long. If the outer lights start flickering, turn off all store lights immediately and wait in darkness. Shift runs from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. I laughed nervously, waiting for him to say he was kidding. He didn't. "No questions," Harris said. "You follow them, you'll be fine. Ignore them, you won't last the night." Something about the way he said it made my skin prickle. The first hours were slow. I stocked shelves, swept, and rang up a couple of tired truckers who looked like they'd been on the road all night. At 12:30 a.m., I found myself lingering near the front windows. The forest loomed just beyond the dim glow of the parking lot lights. The trees were so dense, it felt like a wall. I remembered the 6th rule. Don't stare at the forest for too long. But something moved between the trees. At first I thought it was the wind, but the branches weren't swaying. Whatever it was standing still, watching. I tore my eyes away before I could see more. At 1:12 a.m., faint headlights appeared on the road. A sleek black sports car rolled into the lot. I stepped toward the glass, squinting, and my stomach dropped. The driver's seat was empty. The passenger seat, too. Rule 2. I turned the deadbolt with stiff fingers. The car idled for what felt like forever. Headlights pointed directly at me. Then, without warning, it backed out slowly and disappeared into the dark. At 1:36 a.m., the door chimed. A tall figure entered, far taller than anyone I'd ever met. His brown coat swayed around his legs as he walked. He didn't look at me, didn't speak. He picked up a bottle of water, then a small bag of chips. I kept my gaze on the counter as I rang up his items. My hands were shaking, but I slid the bag toward him without a word. The moment the door closed behind him, I felt like I could breathe again. At 3:09 a.m., movement at the door caught my eye. A man and a woman stood outside, smiling warmly. They waved. "Hey, can we come in? We just want to grab a couple snacks." Their voices were casual, friendly. Without thinking, I started to say, "Sure, come on." The rule hit me mid-sentence. If anyone asks for permission, why would they need to ask? The door wasn't locked. They kept smiling as their hands curled around the handle. I backed toward the rear of the store and froze. A baby was crying. It was coming from the back office. High-pitched, desperate wails. Rule 5. I shut my eyes immediately. The voices outside the door were still calm, but there was something wrong about them now. Come on, don't be rude. We just want to talk. I wanted to give you a hug for being so nice to us. The crying grew sharper, closer. I stumbled into the bathroom, locked the door, and pressed my eyes shut tighter. They stayed, knocking lightly, calling my name, though I was sure I'd never told them what it was. Sometimes they whispered in low tones I couldn't quite make out. Time dissolved. I had left my phone at the counter, so I had no idea how long I sat there. My breathing sounded too loud in the tiny room. Eventually, silence. A knock came again. This time, it was heavy. "It's Harris," a familiar voice called. "You can come out now." I opened the door slowly. Harris stood there, frowning. "Broke a rule, huh?" he said. Not a question. I glanced at the clock on the wall behind him. 5:10 a.m. He was late. "I thought the shift ended at 5, I muttered. "It does," he said flatly. "You lasted longer than most." I didn't respond. I just grabbed my bag and stepped outside. The forest pressed close to the parking lot, darker than it had been hours before. For a second, I thought I saw shapes moving between the trees. I didn't look twice. I never came back for another shift.